Now we're back. Okay.
We're back! We're back after that spill. It's a toxic spill. The Exxon Valdez over here, and we're back at morning radio. Anyway, well, it's funny. I printed out the script the other day, and I used two different laser printers in order not to kill one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Because the thing runs to 73 pages as it is here.
Yeah, jeez.
But what first occurred to me is I have two copyright notices on here. Mm-hmm. The first being 1998. Mm-hmm. And I don't even remember when I wrote the first version of it. But obviously it was somewhere completed around 1998. And I remember what the inspiration for it was. Mm-hmm. Which of course was living in Hazleton, and those two dogs that were in this little compound by our house. Mm-hmm. And they were really big, stupid dogs, very loud dogs. But they had they were in this fenced-in chain-link thing, and there was wood up, and every time I would walk by, they'd bark at me like crazy until I got behind the wood. Mm-hmm. And then they just stopped barking because I had disappeared from existence. Mm-hmm. Until they saw me again, and then they would start barking again. And so I said one day, gee, I wish I could hire somebody to kill those dogs. There's an idea for a play, and that's where Dog Assassin came from. So here we have a copyright date of 1998, and then another one of 2008, which I think at that point was some revision that I thought we were going to jump right on it there. And as I've discovered over the years, there's like a 10-year lag time between things I've done. I did a short story called Gilbert the Goldfish. Mm-hmm. I did an audio recording of it in my friend's studio years ago in the last century. Did some drawings for it. 10 years later, I put it into a flash animation, you know, and it's like, it took me 10 years and put it on the web. Mm-hmm. So it took me 10 years to from the start of that thing to the end. Mm-hmm. So this will be a little longer, but good things come to those who wait, perhaps. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, some of the songs on my next album are actually, not all of them, but some of them are almost 10 years old.
Yeah.
They didn't fit in with other collections or whatever, and they just kind of got pushed aside, or they were dependent on a certain amount of technology that I didn't have at that point, or that I wanted to do more with, and now I have, but don't have as much time. So
right, yeah. And it's kind of funny to open it up to a larger issue of instant gratification. I mean, we have GarageBand and Reason and computers and a studio that fits within this machine. And we have all that stuff, but we're still working on things from years ago. Mm-hmm. So there's, we have the possibility for instant gratification, but we're still
has to
doing things on glacial time, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
So, what is our our next step in terms of, we're looking at, regardless of whether the grant thing happens, we're looking at 2012, right?
Spring 2012.
Spring 2012,
I think so.
The end of the world.
Before that. This will bring it on.
Yeah, bring it on.
Yes, spring of 2012, and then the world ends in December 2012,
right.
And we're good. Yeah. Okay,
so
we've made our mark on the world that will...
Okay, because I do have some copies of the Mayan calendar here somewhere that I thought we should consult for maybe advice.
Performance dates?
Yeah, maybe we should put it in the celestial thing somehow. But no, I was trying to think of what benchmarks you wanted to put in the ground for me in terms of, because I know just my own personal timeline where I think things will go. I want to get some of these acoustic ideas recorded, fleshed out a little bit with maybe a scratch track in for the vocal. I want to try to land on a few of the electronic things to figure out where they fit in. So I didn't know where your vision was in terms of we're gonna try to meet this summer for some type of retreat. Right. We'll probably need to do that again next year.
Exactly, and what I've written to the grant, which again gets funded or not, is really talking about the process that takes us from January 2011 to April of 2012.
Okay.
But the more groundwork we can have done before that, obviously,
yeah.
So if you want to spend some time today, and I can kind of sing you through some ideas, with the camera off.
Yeah, well, with my
And-
recorder on though, so.
Whatever. Just get some ideas of what I was thinking in terms of the whole theatrical moment too. Maybe that'll help you.
Yeah.
And then meeting this summer for more of an intensive work session where maybe some things are a little more fleshed out or whatever. And so that then going up from there. But I'll send you a copy of all the grant material, which has a real timeline in it. And that'll help you determine that too. But I think the timeline fits regardless of whether we get the grant or not.
Yeah. Okay.
We're also pursuing other grant chances. I hate to use the word opportunities because people use that for weird times, but apparently there's a Pennsylvania grant coming up later this month, and the grant writer. Funny story about that. I gave her a bottle of champagne. I handed her the CDs to send to the NEA, and I handed her a bottle of champagne. She goes, "Oh, it's a little premature." I said, "No, this is a reward for thank you for doing the work." And she goes, "Well, you don't need to do that. This is just my job." And I said, "No, you worked really hard for me and got this out, and I'm not used to that." So, but I said, "Give me the weekend, and we'll talk about the other grant." So it never ends. Anyway.
So yeah, I think that timeline should be good. I'm trying to think in terms of being done with school. Yay. Will definitely open up. Because right now I feel like I had this period where, like after the holidays, around that time where I was able to put a lot of energy into this, and then I got the drums recorded for my CD project, and now I'm back like, okay, I need to finish this because I've got all this stuff in front of me, and now I'm kind of in that and in class, so this is getting a little bit less attention except for this weekend. But I know that class will be done, the other stuff will balance out, and then I can get back to this. So I'm glad that we have like a year and a half. That's good. I guess I'm pretty confident that the material will be decent as far as what I'll come up with. I guess my biggest fear right now is trying to translate it to live performance.
Yeah.
So I'm really trying to be careful in how complicated I make. I don't want to just make things complicated because I can do them on here.
Right.
And then I have to spend 3 times the amount of time trying to translate that with the musical director to do it live for the group. Because the one big question I have is what you're anticipating or what the musical director will anticipate in terms of a score, like printed score.
Yeah, I really have no idea.
Because I have the capability to do some of that. But I just don't know how effective, and it may just be an opportunity for me to stretch some more and, do that, but I don't know, because unfortunately Reason is very much designed as like, however the easiest way that you can compose, it lets you compose. I don't know if it has, it has a piano roll view, which isn't going to help anybody who's reading. I think there might be a staff view in here. There should be. But what I could do in terms of printing that off and how organized it'll be,
Right.
I think that's going to be part of what one of my big challenges towards the end. So,
How many songs are there?
how many there are?
There's a lot, huh?
This has most of the list here. 12.
Oh, it's just 12? Okay.
Well, 13 if you count the lullaby, but
And the overture.
so 12, 13, which I'm working on the CD I'm working on now is 12 songs, and it's a different animal because it's stuff that I play. I'm playing everything on it. I'm not really relying on other musicians to deal with it, and I don't have to worry about making a score. And it's all guitar based. So there's guitar chord. You know, I do have guitar diagrams and stuff that I go by, but. So yeah, I mean, I have an idea of what's involved, but because the main goal isn't necessarily a recording, it's the live performance, that changes my focus.
Right.
Then I'm less concerned with, oh, how perfect is this guitar track, you know, unless we're talking about selling CDs at the thing. So,
Well, that's not a bad idea.
which is a whole other thing.
Well, that would be getting the performers together to record that at some point in the
Yeah.
process. So
So that's
which adds a whole other level of
yeah.
complexity.
But I think, you know, in terms of getting the live musicians, you know, the drummer is going to be key. From Camera, Cadbury. That is like, when I watched that, I was like, this is all great. Everything that's happening is really being well done, but none of it would be possible without that drummer thing there. I mean, he was, not only was he energetic and he was really into it, but he was just really on with everything. And I think that's true of any kind of progressive type group. So what else do you want to do on tape here?
Probably nothing else on tape.
Okay.
We're going to walk through the songs now, and this is going to be a
Okay.
tedious process and waste tape, so we're just going to turn it off for right now.